Yes, it is true. It is true. We are back. The Robotech, the MACROSS Saga group right here, right now, right live, unless you watch it in the future. Hello, my name is Lucas. This is Lucasgvariety, and we're finally back to do the Robotech MACROSS Saga. And of course, Season 3, Episode 8. I believe I got it right. It's our final season. We have a few episodes left. Took a big hiatus, but we're back. I think it was right around the holidays. It was busy, so we just did the gaming Gallimaufry. It's filled in our Tuesdays, which was great for a few months. We had a lot of fun games. Now Mike is back to steer the helm, or the captain, depending on what we're looking at the point. But anyways, today, of course, is June the 7th, 2022. And just last bit, in case ever you're watching in the future, Hope, my daughter, she's 3 years old today. Happy birthday. That's all I'll say. Maybe you'll be as big a nerd as me or bigger. And then, in fact, you will watch all these hours of crap because you're like, who was my dad? Who was he?
Who really was?
Why did I watch this? I don't want to know. It was back.
My dad had no sense of humor.
Well, he thought he did, though. He thought he did.
He has one. It's just not very good.
Oh, my gosh. He surrounded himself with such good friends, too, who never insulted him. All right.
A true friend would be cruelly honest.
Hate. Anyways, hate. hate. All right, Robotech Master Harukajunko. I guess it's time for me to pass it over to you, and I'll get myself ready.
I am Robotech Master Harukajunko, and welcome back, everyone, once again to another episode of Robotech the MACROSS Saga. Last time we ended off, the group had just finished a double date with Oberta and Sistine, who turns out Sistine was a spy and everything. Ooh. Also turns out Oberta was evil. Woo!
Oh.
Besides that, though, they had a nice dinner date. Meanwhile, over on the actual command ship of Oberta, Lucas was busy getting ready for his spa date, but also learning very quickly that, well, how shall we say, he was being pestered by Fira into combat training.
Into what?
Into combat training.
Yes, I think that was something they said I had to do that first before I did my half. And I'm not sure who Fira is. I have to start looking at... Oh, yes, the redhead.
She is the small redhead.
The one that calls me Chachi or Cha-Cha?
Cha-Cha. Yep.
Yeah, I don't like her.
You still don't know what a Cha-Cha is.
I thought about this. I thought about... This is the character that Archie dropped his draws over because she was so breathtakingly beautiful. But I feel like the more he's gotten to know her, the less he's actually likes her. Mm-hmm. So that's just a good little lesson for him. So, yes. Good. Can't wait, Fira. Bring it on.
But we're going to start today's session with, at this point, Fira is less asking and more starting to drag you at this point, Archibald, as she's pulling you down the corridors of the ship. You have been macronized, just to remind you.
Yes, I'm big. I'm a big dude.
And while she is shorter than you in terms of giant people, she is still tugging along with a strength that kind of gives you pause of, I really don't want to get my arm broken.
All right. That scares Archie.
But I do want him.
He realizes getting into fisticuffs with her is probably going to be the worst of ideas. But you have to do his best. He was trained as a soldier and as a pilot. Yeah. He's in relatively good shape. I mean, he kept himself working out because he wanted to always look good, so you got to stay in shape to do that. Mm-hmm. And so otherwise he's feeling like, Constitution, don't fail me now.
Yep.
Doing the neutron dance.
She leads you into this large, almost dojo kind of room. It kind of looks like almost a cross between a gym and a martial arts studio. And she's like, all right, you stand there, I'll grab the equipment.
All right.
And she goes and runs off into like a nearby closet almost.
Is there not an audience that's going to be watching us? Is it?
There's a few people following in behind you. Specifically, one of them is Nero, the one that's been kind of sitting along guarding you.
Yeah, I think Archie. It's probably not noticeable. I mean, it's been a while since we've played, so I feel like Archie's been looking at her, not only because he thinks all the women are beautiful, obviously, but maybe she stands out, but maybe only because she's talked to him when everybody else has basically not talked to him, or she's at least semi-treated him like a person, and now he's probably looking at her half help, half okay, I like you the best right now.
Mm-hmm. She just kind of stares at you, kind of in that kind of almost lazy, kind of tired look she always has.
Yep. Yep.
And eventually coming back, you hear like a clatter of noise, which drags your attention back to Fira. On the floor, she's basically dropped down equipment that looks like almost like sparring gear, except it has like knives coming off of it. So it's like knee guards, elbow guards, fist guards, all of these different pieces of stuff, even like foot coverings, all with like blades grafted into them.
Ah. Sorry. Bladed assless chaps. Ah, my specialty. He's kind of like,
Yeah, meanwhile, she's like already geared up with her stuff, and I mean, in practicality terms, this stuff is maybe practical for giant mecha-sized people to fight with. But this is also kind of silly because it's, they have knives attached to their feet, hands, elbows, knees.
everything. Okay.
She's like, there's your stuff. Put it on.
All right. So as he's getting dressed, he's like trying to find out and put it on. He's trying to do it correctly. He's like, can you tighten up this? Can you cinch it up in the back there? I don't want it falling off.
It's literally just like kind of like little gauntlets, elbow pieces.
So not a whole suit.
Pieces. Yeah, it's not a whole suit. It's just it's little pieces of armor with like knives on them, basically.
So it's our point
by knives, I mean like fairly long spikes of metal attached.
Are they heavy or are they like weighted well? Like, tell me.
They're weighted well, but it's an awkward weight.
Sure. He's. I should have taken some of my knives out and strapped them to my arms. You should tell me, Mike. I could have duct taped them on ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. But so you start kind of getting on and start getting in this kind of like awkward pose. And she's like, no, like this, and she comes over and she like starts adjusting your position to where it's a more kind of a loose kind of almost boxer Muay Thai style.
Oh, okay. But is it
so you're trying to like you're kind of using them as almost like an extension of your arm or knee or something for strikes. And she's like, do your people not know Sudai?
I know how to die. I do not know Sudai. I know you die. Is that the point of this game? Is to kill each other?
What? No, this is just training. But you must always train with your equipment as though it were a real fight, or else what are you doing?
Can I just ask one request?
What?
Stay away from this area.
Well,
it's all I have.
Like I mean, you don't have any brains up there, so what are we losing?
The face. The face. There, Fira. The face. It's literally the money maker. Oh, gosh. Oh.
But you can just get that fixed up later.
Okay. He thinks about it. He's like sci-fi super alien ship. They macro-sized him. They got to have technology to put your face back together. So maybe he calms a bit. He's like, okay. I guess he looks back at Nira one last time. And just he looks at her kind of nervous, but he looks at Nira. Mm-hmm. When he turns back to Nira, he's like as bold as he can. He like winks at her. Then he turns back like just his like thought bubbles like, oh crap. Mm-hmm. Spa day coming. Spa days are coming. Just got to get through this first. Yeah. I guess that's it. That's all I got.
He's got some good motivation.
Yeah.
And so she kind of sets up a little bit away from you, and one of the nearby people basically hits a button, and like not a gong sound, but like basically a bell or something to indicate the round has started. And I'm going to need you to make a test here to kind of just see how well you're doing. I'm not testing for her, or just to see how well she beats you up. I'm testing. I want you to test to see how well you don't get beat up.
Gotcha. I think what he was doing is, I mean, he's been trained to fight hand to hand, like probably all soldiers are, right? It's just that's not his style. He obviously drives a Veritech. But I think he kind of sits loose and is kind of looking nervous. But as soon as the bell is rung, he goes right at her. Because why not? If I die, they're just gonna pretend to be me and rip my body apart. So whatever, I don't need it anymore. So I need to pick my stats, right?
Yep, pick your Two
Skill.
skills.
I think
and
what's my
do
burnout?
remember your burnout.
7 is my burnout.
Yep. So you can roll up to 7 dice between your skills. Between your 2 skills.
I think with this, I feel like this would be good. It would be man at arms.
Mm-hmm.
Just his tactical knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's either angelic grace or counter position. To respond, you must be able to. That's the cost. So I would be compromising. Sorry, I lost in there for a second.
You're fine. It's
Either,
been a while since we did this.
I either respond quickly or you act with grace under fire. I think he's responding quickly. Really, I do counter position because that's what he's going for. He's going to man at arms and responding quickly, hopefully to catch her off guard a little bit and get the advantage.
All right.
And Archie is not pulling punches. If he can stab her, he'll stab her. This is not something normally is like his character, but like I said, it's do or die. So he's gonna do so he doesn't die.
So something to the effect of, I'd never hurt a woman, but.
Yep. And so 7 dice, Mike.
All right. So roll your 7 dice.
Do I have anything else that upgrades this?
Talents?
Let me see. Your elements. You're engaged with Mecha and your people and the people's hero. I don't think you're in your element, unfortunately. So you're rolling it nominal.
Do you have any talents for this?
I'm forgetting where to look for my dang talent.
They should be below your skills.
Yeah. Time shot. That's engaging. I don't know if that costs. If that's just for Mecha. Time shot once per engaged enemy target. Choose a location to place damage when attacking.
Pulling up the book in 1 second.
Page 161. All your damage from an attack may be applied this way once per enemy you face. This may be used to target specific hardware systems. So that sounds more like Mecha.
You can no. It specifically says target enemies, so you can use this against people. It's a free call shot basically, so you can like choose to target her like when you're trying to target her. You can choose to target like maybe one of her weapons, her hand, or something.
I want to target one of her legs, so she's hopefully crippled for speed.
Sweep the leg.
Yep. With my shredder, like from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with my shredder like arms and shin pads, like all of those blades he wears. That's kind of how I'm picturing it. I'll sweep the leg with those and try to cut her calf and her quad all up or something. So,
cut her Achilles.
So is that like a free time shot without any penalty or something? Or
yeah, you don't take any penalty. You still have to succeed at it for it to happen, but
okay.
And I will actually pull up a picture of Sudai and send it in the chat here in 1 second.
All right. Is that target number's 5?
Yep, you are looking for 5s. Well, 5s and 6s, but yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total successes.
5 total successes. Not bad.
And 6s are worth 2, if I remember correctly.
They are.
So probably like rush forward and like go at her face with a few swings, and when she goes to defend that, that's when he's going to go down for a leg sweep and try to take out whatever leg is convenient for how his combination is working, and just try to cut her leg out from under her and damage it to where she will not be as speedy until she just walks on her hands as fast as her legs and still destroys me.
Don't give many ideas.
That's okay. Mike already.
You like jump out and you're not really fighting the way that these weapons are really kind of meant to be. You're kind of going more in for like a more human style, kind of using your knowledge of military training and earthbound martial arts, trying to work with this to try and figure out how best to deal with this, or fight the enemy in this case. And it's an awkward fight, to say the least. The weapons have an extra weight and length to them that you're not really used to. So you're struggling a little bit in order to try and hit them or get that called shot off like you want. But you manage to get a couple of nicks in, and in the middle of the fight, and she's like, good, that's very good. And
Jetstream Sam.
and before you know it, she's like like you go for like taking your knee blade and kind of do a jump to try and like jab it in while trying to use your arm to wrestle her down to get your knee blade into her leg, and she quickly sidesteps and kind of bashes your blade to the side before turning and kind of wrapping you up like this and just smacking you right in the sternum. Not with the
Oh,
blade, but like the
yeah.
side of it, just smacking you with it.
Yep.
And she kind of like she kind of lets you go after that, and you roll away for a quick second before coming back with a second burst of speed at her, trying to take her down again. And once again, like the moment you think you have a kill shot, she just kind of weaves and bobs right through it. This time, taking her shoulder, and literally shoulder checking your torso as you leap at her.
Okay. Well, that's not the first time it's happened to him.
But you're holding your ground for the most part and staying up, which is one of the big things.
Okay.
Because her hits they hurt, as one would expect. And okay.
No, I was thinking about a tactic change, but please continue.
And this kind of goes on for about a minute or two before the bell rings again to kind of call a halt to the round. And you've worked up a sweat by this.
Oh, sure.
It's a lot of like you're doing like weird jumping knees and getting up after getting knocked down. And she's she looks like she's worked up a little bit of sweat too. And she's like, you you don't know Sudai, but you do adapt well. You know what? How about this? I'll teach you Sudai for the rest of this without stabbing you.
Wait, she said, I'll teach you Sudai for the rest of this?
Yeah, like the training thing.
Oh, okay. I just said, please stay away from the moneymaker, but I'm not calling for any sympathy.
I'm pretty sure you don't need it, but at the same time, I at least want, my training partner to actually know the ground rules before we go any further.
Okay. I feel like there's going to be more than 2 rounds, Mike.
Oh, there's going to be more rounds, but she at least wants to give you a ground level basic on how to, get into the sport, obviously.
Get destroyed. Okay. I have a tactic change, but I think I'll save it for a while. I feel like this is going to go on for a bit. So Marsh just gets the water shot in his mouth, toweled off like in the corner of a boxing ring. What? That doesn't happen. Spits out the water in a bucket, puts his mouth guard back in. You don't get mouth guards. What? No. And then gets up and tries to reposition, trying to really feel the weights of this armor to get the best balance. And maybe we'll just, prepare for the next round.
Yep. So you get back, so you take a second and, steady yourself, and you set up at the distance that she had set before. And she's like, all right, so first, you kind of didn't really go in the correct way.
Okay, he's listening.
So, when in Sudai, you first have to close with a flying kick. That's how the sport goes, as taught to us by the Tyrolean masters who we serve. And she gives like a demonstration of basically a running, leaping kick towards you, but landing short of you.
All right. Archie's just like, I don't think time I jump is when I get caught at a girl's house, chasing me out, jumping a fence. That's how I was high school. He's trying to remember last time he actually jumped. He's like, I never did the hurdles in track. Okay, but she's basically saying a flying kick is how I have to lead.
Yeah, you gotta lead with the flying kick. It's the most important part.
Why do I have to lead with it?
Well, we both do. That's how we close the distance in this sport.
So we fly and leaping kick into each other and then come down in a heap?
Well, that's not exactly the goal, but I mean, if you stab the other person in the heart with the blade on your foot, you win.
Got it. Stab you in the heart with a blade on my foot.
Yeah, you're learning.
All right, let's do this. Why are we waiting? He goes, you're going to get a nice calf massage later, I think, as far as your petty goes. Just so you know.
Ooh, I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. And she goes back and separates,
Gets some,
and
jumping up and down, testing the weight. Like, how am I going to do this? Okay.
it's a little bit of an awkward weight, but
Yeah.
it's it's a martial art you've never tried before. What's the worst that could happen? You stab yourself?
Lucas, myself, has about a 6-inch vertical in real life. But this is an anime, so maybe, just maybe, I can get at least 12 inches, maybe 18. We'll see. Let's see how the cartoon movie magic works here. Okay, Mike.
I want you to know how easily this could be misinterpreted.
Yes, I know. I said vertical. I said vertical as in jumping.
But either way, so the bell rings and give me your second roll.
All right. I had a different method, but I'm not going to do that right now because she's actually training, not just trying to brutally kill. I mean, she's
murder you yet. Yeah.
Hunker down. Let's do a flash move, so I'm basically being unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And what this is, like, she'll expect him to jump at a certain point, and she'll maybe probably jump at the same time like this. But what he'll probably do is she'll jump first, and he'll pause, and then she's coming up to her arc. That's when he'll jump, so that hopefully she's coming down from her arc at the time he's going up. And he can jack her in the jaw or something. So
yeah,
I'll go flash move to be a little bit unpredictable. And I'm going to do it with Angelic Grace. It's going to look good. So
all right.
That's 7.
Roll me your 7 dice.
I want to use all kinds of the bonus dice, but I'm not. No.
You can,
No. There might be more important rolls than this. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This time. One better.
Yeah. So.
Take it.
You're starting to learn. The weights are kind of. After it's only been a couple of minutes, but even with like the small, training little thing what she was telling you about, and kind of getting used to the weights a little bit, it's not as bad as this time. You managed to you perform your strategy of waiting for her to leap, and you leap instead at her when she's at her arc, and you almost hit her. She managed to kind of jerk her body to the side and like slide over your foot with
Sure.
just missing the blade of it itself before grabbing it and basically wrapping and as she falls towards the ground, pulling you off balance and getting you in almost like a leg lock as her knee lands on here. Not the blade, just like your actual knee.
Yep. Usually I like to cozy up to a good-looking woman's knee or leg area in general, but it's a little more than I'm used to.
Yeah, no, she'll eventually let up and go, why would you cuddle up to a knee? And in this confusion, you manage to spin and kind of on the ground, you spin and you take out her leg from underneath, one of her legs from underneath her.
That gives
and
me
she stumbles.
Okay.
And you manage to get up and kind of grab her from behind and kind of drive her towards the ground. And you get her down on the ground for a couple of seconds, but before she quickly just, you know how you're when you try to hold a cat and the cat doesn't want to be held.
Yep.
Yeah, she just squirms and wriggles free.
I also have a toddler that does that quite a bit. When he doesn't want to change his diaper. So yes.
She manages to squirm and wiggle free, and she'll get up and roll back up, and you'll get back up, and this kind of back and forth kind of goes on for the rest of the match, which at this point goes on for about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's
before the bell rings and you're just drenched in sweat.
I should hope so.
Mm-hmm. Flying jumps, wrestling on the ground. It's basically wrestling with extra steps and knives.
You want some food for thought. I also think women's shoulders are especially nice as well. Trying to play off her confusion from before.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, our shoulders need to be nice. How else are we going to carry our military gear?
Supple, soft, perfectly curved.
She kind of
Moisturized. Sometimes tattooed.
she seems slightly lost at this, but shrugs as the round is over. And she's she's a little winded too. It seems like you guys towards the end you kind of started getting the better of her before the match was called. And the girls in the crowd, mostly kind of whisper a couple of things, and they say, they're obviously saying something between them, but you can't really hear it between the blood pumping in your ears and the testosterone going.
So he turns to him. He's like, and another thing, I also like to hold the door for a lady, and sometimes even men, because I am polite.
And they kind of all look at you kind of with this weird look.
No.
Mira kind of just slowly shakes her head like, what the heck are you talking about?
Just, yep. He's got a lot of adrenaline going through, a lot of fear, a lot of confusion himself. Probably he's glad he's not too much. He's probably punch drunk a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have no idea how I would be in this situation. And just anyways, sorry.
But you do get a reward out of this for doing so well in this.
Oh.
You gain an element.
Oh snap! That is a reward.
Mm-hmm. The element of Zentradi trained.
Oh, that can't go wrong with that.
Ooh.
Zentradi trained. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a little more information?
More or less. How do I want to word this? You are going for mechanical effect on this one. It's whenever you're fighting Zentradi 1-on-1, you will be at edge. This does not count towards swarms though.
Sure.
And stuff like that. You're starting to learn how to fight them 1-on-1 and really take apart their fighting styles.
All right. Is this in just hand to hand only, or also mecha?
It'll work for mecha too.
Okay. Cool.
That robot kung fu.
Yes.
I mean, seeing as so real talk. I'm gonna break the curtain a little bit. Sudai is an actual thing in some of the Robotech games, and it's Zentradi anti-mecha martial arts.
Oh, that's fun.
Anti-mecha martial arts?
They are this quote here from one of the Robotech books.
Yes, please.
While all Zentradi soldiers are trained in it, the few that specialize in it are fierce commandos, stealthily sneaking into enemy locations and disabling enemy mecha with little sound. They eschew most armor, preferring mobility and stealth for their protection. It's one of those things people came up with. I don't know where it came from, but
I like it. Thank you.
But yeah, no, and at this point, the girls are kind of looking, and Fear's like, well, I think that's good enough for your training today, at least. So you said something about a mani-pedi?
And he goes from like that being that tired and kind of crazy to like he just throws off all the armor and he's his clothing's underneath. He's just like, yes, he's like renewed and re-energized. He's like, now you're in my world, baby. Let's get it set up. It's gonna take a couple hours. And before we transition here, I don't remember exactly. We had made a deal for something to do this fighting training, and the mani-pedi was. There was a reason behind it. And I don't remember exactly why.
You were going to get the dinner date with Alberto.
Well, yes, but that
was before all this. But I think it was you had to do the fighting if you wanted to do the mani-pedi.
But why did I want to do that? Oh yeah, I wanted to show them some culture, so that they can consider like, hey, betray your Robotech masters. You don't need them. Be independent women. Live your own life. Don't destroy Earth because now you can live there if you want. That type of thing. You can assimilate. I don't know exactly what I said before, but if I got to retcon, that was kind of his idea he was pushing. And they're like, all right, you got to prove yourself or something in that matter, right?
Yeah,
he goes,
I think it was something along those lines. I only reviewed the very last episode and I was skipping about, so I may have missed it.
No, that's fine. So yeah, he's just gonna I'm gonna give you what's called a spa day. Mud on your face, not in your eye, and he just lists all these things like you're gonna feel better than you ever have, and so that's what he's gonna set up. Now it seems to kind of, I have to kind of cheat a little bit, like to have all the things that you would need on Earth to do the mani-pedi, but we'll make do the best we can, Mike.
Yeah, no. Uh,
They might have stuff from Earth. Who knows? I don't know.
they have a fair amount of things from Earth, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, they might have. If they gave me access to all the things they've taken over the years, I might be able to whip up. You know,
They manage that Fira and Nira are the ones who are with you, and they're like, and they like lead you over to like this room that seems to have like be like a storage room of some kind, and they're like, here's your stuff. Meet us back in the dojo when you're ready.
oh, I'm gonna need some help, ladies. We have chairs to set up, sinks to wash your hair. We need, and he's just like, I need all of you, Nira, you especially, Fira, yep, because you've been good, and you, and all these names that I don't remember, but I think you would probably memorize all of them. And he's just gonna.
Yes, I've totally memorized the entire crew complement. Yes.
Well, any that he meets and asks gets their
Then
name.
Trotty number 3. That's number 7.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if
that's
he
number
sees
5. Don't listen to her. She's crazy.
when he sees like Zeltine and all that list here, like those that he's familiar with, plus any others, he's gonna always call them by name, because that's what.
But
Anyways,
yeah, they'll kind of oblige and start like setting up things the best they can. They decide to set it up near one of the observation rooms, which when they show you there's like trees and stuff in there, and plants, and give me a quick test to see something, to roll to see something.
so I still put the rolls together.
Yeah, you do your normal rolls and everything.
Add up negotiator. I don't know, just so he can be where he wants to be and notice something. He's always on the defensive. I don't want strafing run. So I basically just keep moving. I don't let him know that whatever I'm.
So what are you giving up for that negotiator due to the actual it being compromise? You're gonna gain something, but what's the penalty for gaining it here?
Ooh, I don't know if I like that then.
It can be really good, but it's all up to you.
I just can't think of anything that I'd compromise at this point.
Well, you could always have a complication arise with your stuff, or maybe something else.
No,
you can leave it up to me.
I need this, Mike. I need this to go perfectly. This is. He's got to be.
If you want to, you can always just leave it up to me for the compromise. Devil's bargain.
You know what? No.
No devil's bargain.
No, I don't want a devil's bargain.
Oh.
Do you really want to give it? Is it gonna blow my chances here?
No, it won't.
All right,
Pick
fine.
something else.
I'll leave it in your capable hands.
I would not ruin your spot.
All right. I'm rolling only 6 dice though.
Okay, that's fine.
Target number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's something that I don't think my elements.
No. I think you're. You know what? One of your elements is applying here, but I am not saying which.
People's hero or since entirely trained. All right, so does that mean a 4 then?
Yep, you will need a 4.
Oof. I got
3 success.
I still got 3, and you said I'm just trying to notice something. So
yeah, you're just trying to notice something. If you want to, you can always re-roll the failed stuff with one of your elements.
Or
the one
is it element or nature?
Or nature. Sorry, nature. My bad.
That's right. That was. Yes, because he's going to be looking. It's going to be off his demeanor because he's going to be looking at all the showboat. He knows what he's talking about, but he's going to look like grand. He's going to look Alex Matt's grand as he's doing this. Very show-offy.
Okay.
So I have to re-roll 4 dice.
Yep, you can re-roll those 4 failed dice, or the whole thing if you want. 4 more success.
So I'll take it.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you're kind of going along through this observation area, which it seems walled off into sections almost, you start looking through and you notice that these like enclosures almost, like these plant areas which are sealed behind what looks at least to be fairly thick glass. In one of them, you're almost sure you can spot a flash of purple in the grass. like like almost this purple look with a red eye for a quick second before it darts away.
Like a
But what really catches your eye
no idea what
is
that is.
one of the nearby ones is full of humans.
Oh, more prisoners.
They seem to be on
I-
some kind of farm almost. Not like they're being farmed, but like they are farming.
And there's enough light. Like, how big is this area? It must be huge.
It's fairly big. Like for reference of like the type of ship you were on, like the ship is absolutely massive. Sorry, give me 1 second. I have to get to the correct page. The ship you're on is about 4 kilometers long,
Holy cow.
and so yeah, this is like each one of these is fairly large. The one that you saw the purple in seems to be more overgrown with vegetation than anything, but some of the vegetation
Snake in
looks
the
to have
grass.
been like it looks different, like it's not natural.
Wait, the farm that the humans are on?
No, the other one with the purple, where
Oh,
you saw the purple stuff. It seems like that one seems to have
that.
the same vegetation is shared between the two, but the one in the other cage looks really weird.
No, that gives me danger vibes, so I think I'll be steering clear of that. Uh, snake in the grass, it sounds like here. I just look at the. I mean, I have no idea. I'm not a.
Yeah.
As not being a Robotech guy, I probably should know, maybe. So I just like, okay, yep, good. I'm not sure why they're showing me this. Is this
No, they're just setting. They want to set up near it,
okay?
because they figure the environment of the ship's pets will be the best place to relax.
This is definitely true. Anytime you can be out in nature, have nature brought to you, at least even falsely, it helps give you the smooth vibe. We need some smooth music. We need the surroundings to be nice. You know, we need the temperature to be perfect. Slightly humid, but not too much. You know, you
Yeah,
just
you're setting up in kind of like an almost observation room kind of thing. It's not really You're not really sitting in the environments. You're just kind of able to see them through the protective super glass.
okay. Good. Sounds
But
good.
you kind of as everyone's setting up stuff, you kind of turn you turn and go like check a door really quickly because you're kind of like looking for other things to bring out, extra chairs and that stuff. And the room that you go into it's not dark. It's kind of more just unlit, and inside, or not unlit, but it's on a dim setting. And inside uh sits the one of the ladies you have seen before, Kana Tyrell.
I have seen her before. Okay.
Yep. She was there on the near the captain's throne when you first went in there. She seems to be some sort of advisor or something.
Oh, okay. I think I kind of recall that. Let me switch over here. I have to fix the overlay. Okay.
And she seems to have, and you enter, you enter in kind of like looking for extra chairs, and she kind of looks over to you and goes, "Oh, it is you, Micro. Are you acquainting yourself well to the ships?"
Yeah. I love seeing farms of humans on an alien ship. Just gives me all the peace of home. I'm adapting super well. Thank you. There's a lot of sarcasm there, but I'm not sure if she'll just.
She kind of thinks on it for a second and go, "I believe you're performing sarcasm, right? It's a human attempt at hiding the true intentions of your words."
Yes, you have that so correct. Sorry, I can't say it straight face.
But she kind of looks at you and nods. "I have been one of the people that Alberta or I've been the main one that's been compiling the information for Alberta."
Yep, I remember. Okay. Well, how do you do? I'm just looking for some things. Spa day's coming. You really should be there.
"I may join you, but for now I was merely just finishing up some things.
Well, that's
So I did want to ask, who was that human that we found you with.
He gets
From your reactions that I have seen, he seemed close to you.
his face kind of darkens. Like there's this shadow in the room somewhere that kind of seems to. He kind of like his head goes way down deep because the death of Chuck Burns is still burning, I guess, but Chuck Burns is still
Oh no. Yeah.
deep. It's still pretty fresh, right? He goes,
And as far as you know, they killed him. They
Yeah.
cut him open and
Yeah.
everything.
and he's like, he was my best friend, my right hand man, my wingman. Saw me through thick and thin, picked me up when I fell down, and your people, murdered him to simply use his skin to try to spy on us. Something I don't appreciate.
I assume one of the other girls has told you this.
Well, yes, I don't remember you telling me that. I met you much later on after learning this.
I must apologize. I do believe they were pulling, as you humans say, a prank on you. The one you call Chuck had died from his wounds in the crash, saving you.
What? I'm trying to get dramatic here. What? No. I mean, he kind of steps back and it falls against like something, like a table. Like,
In fact, all we did was extract the necessary genetic code from your passed away friend in order to, the best word would be, continue his lineage.
how would you continue his lineage? He didn't have a wife.
His DNA will be allowed us to make a clone of him. We will be able to implant his memories to the best of our ability into him in order to bring him back to what he was, or as close as we can.
You can do that.
The Tyrolean, the masters, the Robotech masters of Tyrol have many advanced medical tools that allow us to do this, though ours are less refined than theirs due to our
No.
inbuilt, or rather, due to our disposition to war that they have created us for.
No, you can't. Oh, no. He seems as if he's like, no. On one hand, Chuck will be back. No, it's not him. Be some freak, some monster. I don't know. Chuck is dead. He's really dead. Maybe he wasn't murdered, and I guess that's a relief, and I'll mourn for him later. But any replica you make wouldn't truly be him.
No, that is true, but
So
it is the closest we can do.
if you're trying to do me a favor, I might say no thanks. If you have some other purposes, well, I can't stop you. But I don't think that would be a good idea.
To say that it was out of the goodness of our hearts would be a lie. We do have our own intents for bringing him back, seeing what memories what information we can glean from him, since he seemed to be the more steadfast soldier of the two of you.
Well, obviously I can't stop you, but I don't have to meet him.
No, you do not. And if you wish not to, you do not have to.
No.
You are the captain's guest here for now.
He kind of starts like fumbling with stuff at this point. His hands are shaking really bad, so he keeps dropping stuff and picking it up. And he's like, he kind of just has to push away from it. I think he's like, you should whoops, doggone it. He's got like a pile of stuff in his hands. Like you should just plan on coming to spa day. These hands are magic. I'll give you a calf massage that you'll never forget. So ta-ta, kinda.
But before you leave, she goes, wait. And she
He's like,
walks over to you and gives you almost a hug. Like, it's like an awkward hug of someone who doesn't know what a hug really is. But she, like, hugs you from, like, the sides, and your arms are full in like, this awkward way. And, well, I may not know Well, I may not be able to replicate it effectively. I do wish to at least attempt to. I believe it is console you
Okay.
and apologize for any any misgivings the other girls on the ship would have given you.
I don't even know what to say to that. I
That's the point. I'm winning. Wait,
Oh,
what?
really? Oh, it's all about that, is it? No, but I think it'd be one of those things where he like, just like jumps in the air and freezes there, shaking like a I can't describe it. Just like a whole shocked like cartoon character in place, like "Whoa!" All the boxes fall down at his feet, and he's just like quickly like, yes, console, very good, great. You have feelings. Toodaloo, thank you. You're very nice. I appreciate it. I don't know what to
Yeah,
think.
she gives you like a polite curtsy as you leave the room,
What is that all about?
and you head back out, and
Why is she
you
so?
know.
Dare I say it? Why is she so nice?
But we're gonna cut away from you
Yeah.
now because you're starting your spa day, and we're going back
Phew.
to Captain Alex
I'm
Matz.
worn out.
So, Captain, I do need to ask you, since Alberta did say she was gonna stay for an extra day to learn more about you,
Hmm.
are you setting up quarters for her near yours or away
Of
from
course,
yours?
it's easy enough. I
All right.
have a cold complement of them that I don't use because they all stayed in mine,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of me inviting them.
And Alex Matz, upon hearing that Alberta is going to be near the captain, Sistine kind of turns towards you and goes, "Well, I guess that means I should stay near you, shouldn't I?"
There, for a second, I think a sort of defeated look flashes across his face. Sure.
Actually,
Yeah, and I think he's gonna like glare at the captain for just a moment.
I'll chuckle. Actually, you'd be better off near me as Alex is a newly married man soon, so he needs time alone with his upcoming family members.
And it's at this point Minmay kind of like shoves between Sistine and you, taking your arm, Matt. Yes, married. And she kind of gives her like the dirty side eye, and Sistine just kind of shrugs and goes, "Oh well, lead the way, Mister Captain."
I think he'll sort of Alex will have a look of relief. He has been spared,
Mm-hmm.
although perhaps he trades one punishment for another.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, Captain, you, I assume, lead them away. Oh wait, I thought the captain was there. I think he's disappeared. Oh well.
Captain is gone.
Yeah, he stepped
Long
away
live
for
the
a minute.
captain.
Oh, he's back. I
He's
think.
back. He's fading into existence.
Sorry, I dropped a whole stack of paperwork open my desk from
Oh,
work.
you're fine.
Sorry,
But
yeah. Yeah.
so Sistine goes, "So shall you be leading us away?"
He chuckles. No, I believe it's called escorting. And we get to go across a couple decks. I get the nice quarters because I'm supposed to literally, seems like at times, live on the bridge. Yeah, he takes a deep breath.
Oh, Oberta's kind of like that. She has this really nice uh Garudan tiger skin that she has across her chair.
I literally don't know what's in my room. The girls don't let me really. I don't really use it. I just usually stay at the chair.
Oh, so the captain is subservient to women, it seems. Hmm.
You adopt some family that you owe a village to, and they just kind of make themselves a home.
I have no idea what that means, but carry on.
He laughs. He's like, um, you noticed that our people were land bound to our own planet for until basically this thing turned on. You
Hmm.
know, well, we haven't colonized much farther than the third planet or fourth planet in our system for a long time, but we were over eager to fight over the meager resources on our planet. one of the global conflicts, as we call it, the last one, in fact, that Mr. Matz and his family are most emphatic about making sure never happens again. There was a lot of, I guess the word is collateral damage. We intended to, one side or the other, over the course of however long it was, wanted to control everything, make it a one world government by hook or crook, as it jokingly called in the old days, by force, or if possible, diplomacy. But diplomacy often took the form of a flying weapon platform. In my case, I commanded what we call carriers, which are similar to the SDF-1, except it only was in the water, seagoing vessel.
And it's very primitive.
It was very, very rewarding though, being in control of all those little dots on a radar screen as they flew around. And
so I'm going to pause you right there, Captain, as you're leading them away, giving them this
Mhm.
long diatribe on the past war. Alex, Matt, you start feeling the blood circulation cut off from your arm.
I'm gonna sort of like look to one side. How tightly is she gripping? Like just tight enough to cut off circulation, or really
about to break the
tight?
skin.
What is it?
No, like, well, Minmay kind of like lets go and kind of, and Lynn Kyle still being there, kind of both motion towards the aliens leaving the room. We have the enemy commander in our midst, and the captain will not arrest them or try to use them for leverage or kill them. In fact, he seems to be more buddy-buddy than, well, with us.
I get the feeling that the captain's decision is mostly for preserving us at the moment. I have no doubt that if we were to take the enemy commander captive, from what I've seen of them, I don't think they'd hesitate to fire on her and name a new commander.
Even then, he acts buddy-buddy to them, like, it's almost like he thinks they're human or something.
That sentence, I think, gives Alex a bit of pause.
We know they're not human. We know that they're monsters. You've seen them. You've fought them. They aren't people.
What measure
They're
is a
creatures.
Man? I want to help the Earth as well, and the sooner they're out of our system, the better. But we can't do anything if we're dead, can we?
The question is the captain going to sell us out to his new friends? Is he going to sell us out to the Earth? Because I'm pretty sure the Earth government wouldn't allow these talks.
I have some doubts as to the captain's loyalty regarding Earth. He has suspicions about UN spies on, hold on, is it UN or is it UEG?
Yeah, it's UEG,
both.
UN.
He figures there's
yes.
both on at this point because otherwise they wouldn't have known.
Yeah, technically they're the same group, but kind of not.
He's at one point basically said he knows you're possibly possible one, but he wouldn't say it outright because maybe someone else's spy could hear him. But he was like if you are, congrats, you're going to get married to one I think is one. So both of you are going to be in the same room all the time.
So does the captain think that we are both spies for the UN or spies for someone else?
He assumes someone else. He assumes the UN spy is someone that's not standing out because he hasn't seen them so obviously, but you guys stand out compared to the rest of the crew.
So I think he's going to say the captain is on alert for a UN spy on the ship. He thinks someone's still watching him. And as the old saying goes, you have nothing to fear, you have nothing to hide. And I think he still has a few things he'd rather hide from the government, or at least from his old command structure. We may be able to work with him rather than against him, at least for the time being.
This seems to dissuade them at least a little bit, but they are both, as you can tell, not happy about this entire situation is. And I don't even think Alex Matz is really happy about having
he is
aliens on
not.
board.
So he's upset for a number of reasons. He very much is conflicted about the aliens. On one hand, he thinks he for a time was very conflicted because he felt that they were people, but also his loyalty is very much to the people of Earth.
Mhm.
However, and he's also conflicted about working with a UN commander, someone he is supposed to be fighting.
Mhm. But you've
A
been
lot
playing
of
with him
things
for
to
a
be
long time.
conflicted about right now.
Yeah. We'll have to figure this out later. If there are other spies on board, we'll figure it out.
I
Step
think the
one,
best we
if
can
you
do
know
for
they're
now
spies, set them
is
against each other.
try to ferret out the UN spy and any other. We know there's Entrati, right?
I mean, there's at least one Zentradi spy. You met her. She said hi to you.
Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to remember if we knew the species name. It's been a while.
Yeah, sorry.
Uh, and as well, see if there's any more Zentradi spies. As you can see, and he gestures to all three of them. Where there's one, there's usually more.
Indeed. We still have a lot of people on the ship. Last I checked, it was... The crew log said something around 37,000 people on the ship still.
What if we could gather them in one place?
We could try that.
Oh, I'm cracking, and I've got an idea. I've got a funny little idea.
And at this point, though, when Kyle goes, what I really want to do right now is... I almost want to expose the captain to the people. Do you think he's told any of the civilian leadership on the boat about what's going on here?
I think that would do more harm for our cause than good. We could very well end up losing an influenceable ally to a mob, and it's much easier to keep a handle on him than it is to control what the mob will use this ship for.
Well, in that case, I leave you to your planning.
Matt will sort of nod at that, and he's going to start putting together a plan.
Mm-hmm. And Lynn, Kyle, and Min-Mei, they'll kind of split off going different directions, but...
One
Situation
literally
tense,
crawls
you
up the
can
wall
feel
like a
it.
spider.
Yeah, one climbs the wall into a vent.
Obviously, that's Lin Kyle.
Yeah.
With his unparalleled martial arts skill.
And Kamehameha attacks. But it's one of those, you can feel the tension in the air, like, this is not a... Even in the air on the regular ship, the tension was already thick and might snap at any moment. At this point, with it, you feel there's almost a worry that it might spill over in any second.
So,
Especially because there's a fleet surrounding you. Yay.
I've got a fun idea, Captain. I'd like to pitch something to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, my plan is twofold. We've got Oberta and this other what's her name? Sistine for another day.
Mm-hmm.
We want to draw out the UN spy as well as try to find any more Zentradi spies. And we need to perform a wedding. So why not kill 3 or 4 birds with one stone?
Yay!
Wedding,
Overly
whatever
drawn wedding scene on the fly. That's awesome.
Yep. Whatever we can do to make as big a thing that as many people come to as possible. We're both singers. We could do wedding concert if we need to. That'd be funny.
They're going to sing their vows to each other for 45 minutes.
But I feel like this is a wonderful opportunity to culture Oberta a bit and draw out the spies.
You could probably ask her to stay for an extra day or two. I mean, you have one day, and rushing a wedding under that is fairly light. Or fairly hard, I should say. Always say, hey, we're going to perform a human culture experiment.
That's a good idea.
the GM's giving you tips here because, or giving you some stuff because I really love this idea and want to see Alex Mass get married.
It's a go.
All right. I think that as the captain is walking Oberta and Sistine away, he'll get sort of like a text on his data pad if he's, which he can probably save till later. But it's sort of detailing the basic outlines of this plan.
But with that, I think we will skip to back over towards Lucas really quickly. Because
Okay.
Captain, I've got plenty of stuff for you, Captain. Don't worry.
I'm not
Lucas,
distracted.
You're finally, you've gotten everything together. There's like 30 or 40 girls there.
Yeah. Sorry.
None of them exactly know why they're here, and they're like all like they hear spa, and that's some human training thing apparently. So some of them are there in like full battle armor.
Oh.
Like they're confused as to what's going on and why there are so many chairs.
I don't know what you wear to a spa. I think it's usually if everybody walks around in robes. So basically, probably in their skivvies underneath. I don't know what he would have told them. He didn't. He forgot to, obviously. He assumed too much that they might have known it.
There was a lot of walking around, traumatic memories being dredged up, double traumatic memories being walked over, and then a hug. There's a lot that's going on.
The hug is what messed him up the most. You know it. I know it. I'm looking at the heroic moves. I might be looking at creating one. Mike.
Depends what you want to do with it.
Yeah. So they got like them there. I was remembering why this happened. He was supposed to have a dinner date with Oberta because he was going to try to show her the human culture, but then she left to go to the SDF-1. So he's like, all right, well, I don't want to just take one girl. How about if I do something that includes all of them? Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, spa day. Gotta know. This feels good.
Unfortunately, you couldn't get the entire ship's complement here because
it's a lot. He'll work with what he has.
Yeah, there's at least just crew. There's like 3,000 people plus 6,500 pilots plus 8,000 ground troops. A little more than I think even you can handle.
You don't know me. Yeah.
But you've got at least like 30 girls here, and they kind of don't exactly know what's going on. And finally, eventually, Mira's going to speak up and go, "So, what is the spa that you've been setting up here with our help?"
So first of all, you should be here to relax. I know that sounds like a foreign concept. You should also be in robes with little to nothing underneath. Now, I will be a gentleman, obviously, because of course I am. And his hair just shakes with it. I forgot I don't have as much hair as Archie. I don't look as good. I have my Archie shirt on, though, guys. I don't know if you noticed I have my Archie shirt on. Hanging on the wall next to the Zorm hat. Anyways, so he's trying to stall for what he's like, how many chairs do I have set up, Mike? How many spa chairs?
You have enough chairs set up for everyone.
Okay. I'm going to work as fast, but as quantitative as possible. I'm going to be as thorough as I can. I have no formal training, but I've practiced many times.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not even going to ask you for a roll here. You know what you're doing, and you know how to take things nice and gentle and slow for these women who've never had this before.
He goes, I will try to set some of you up so that I can jump back and forth, but I'm going to start with one as an example so everyone can see what and as long as you're not too, and he throws this word out purposely. He's like, as long as you're not too afraid to give it a try, I think you might rather enjoy yourself in something other than bloodthirsty combat. I know.
You hear a mumble from someone in the crowd. You're not sure who's like a big chance.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was expecting that kind of reaction. He goes, so without further ado, and he looks over and he's like, Nera?
And before you can say anything, Fira jumps in the way. It's like, me!
He freezes because he's obviously pointing at Nera. Hopefully she can see that he was about to call on her.
Like Fira's jumped in the way of the finger.
Uh, yes, of course, Fira. But I think as she moves out of the shot, like his eyes will still linger on Nira for
Mm.
a moment longer, so
Yeah,
she's aware.
Nira just kind of, kind of waves her hand like, sure, take your time.
Okay.
And Fira will, kind of do as you say. She'll get down to like the robes that you have set up. These robes are normally used for just decanted clones and all that stuff. And so,
So you say I don't need a roll.
yeah, you don't need a roll. You know exactly what you're doing. That is how much like you
Ooh.
know exactly how to deal with these people. And actually, you know what? We'll have a roll, but it won't be for success or failure.
This is how well.
Yeah, but basically just how well.
Oh, I like that. Thank you for the cheer, Soundwavesghost, to help the players out. I might,
Stop helping yourself, Soundwave.
I might, I might help myself to that.
Hey, I didn't do it when I was the GM.
I
So
know it's fine.
I was the
I,
my only rules. I don't give myself money to make you guys worse because I don't have to do that.
I would totally do it, but I can't do it at my own Twitch channel. They say no. I can't spend money on myself. Anyways, thank you, Soundwavesghost. Appreciate it. Um, I'm trying to read up on. I've been reading up on the heroic moves here, which I don't know if that involves a roll when you do that. It doesn't look like it.
Moves are like big modifiers. Like think like hero points in D&D to do like cool things.
Yeah. Because I was looking at the move guidelines, and I like that one that's called area effect. We create an area effect allowing you to apply your successes to allies or enemies over an area. But in this case, all the girls.
I'll allow it.
And I will.
Instead of doing that, I will push you. I will let you roll at advantage.
Ooh, what's that mean again?
So 4, 5s, and 6s will count for successes, and 5s and 6s double.
Oh. So I got to pick the rolls.
Yep, and this will still, and whatever skills you roll, your 5s and 6s. Remember, you can also go over your burnout. I don't know if you have 2 skills of 4. It doesn't seem like you do.
I have.
But you can.
I do. I just don't know if they'd go together. Man at Arms is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do have the expertise, the knowledge of an expert in this knowledge.
Okay.
And you are an experienced veteran of massages.
You know it. I think maybe I would go strafing run. No, I don't. He doesn't want it to be quick. He's also can stall for time that might keep Earth alive longer. So that's kind of part of it too. But it's near minutes compared to like what. But I think Angelic Grace.
Okay, so Man at Arms and Angelic Grace.
Yeah.
Okay. So you when you're going through this, you're gonna have to kind of stick to this one thing. You're not gonna really be able to change up the plan midway.
That's fine. His plan is to go. You get mud on your face. You get mani pedi. You get the hot towel. The leg massage. The hands, arms. Like sometimes they do like the whole arm here. It's not a full body massage. Like that's something he can. That could be another idea another time. But it's it's the whole relaxing. If he's got the music going, the incense burning, or at least whatever smells I got, the right temperature, and the right lighting, it should go pretty well. So, 7 dice, target number 4, doubles, 5s, and 6s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do it for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9.
That was a good.
Do you want to re-roll your single failed dice?
Yes.
One of your natures.
Yes.
Okay.
Which nature though? I want to make sure.
Well, you've already done Showboat.
Yeah. So his disposition is fearless. He's not. He's pretty fearless here. He's like, I know how to do this.
All right, I'll let you re-roll that failed dice. Oh, didn't you say you wanted one of the boosts, by the way?
I was half serious. I'm not.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were actually gonna take it.
So
okay, it's an extra success. So 10 successes.
10 successes.
Fira obviously has no idea what's going on, but she's kind of like one of those happy personalities to where if you like leave her sitting still, she'll just kind of bounce her head back and forth like a pendulum without stopping.
Okay.
And you take a second to set things up. You get her into the robes, and you sit her down in the chair. You have like the bucket for her feet and everything, and you start going through the stuff, and a few times she nearly kicks you in the face because, ooh, that tickles.
That break my nose or my
Yeah.
or my skull.
Like those feet, like her legs are powerful to say the least, and
Sure.
you start like working through, and just beneath the like her, her soft flesh, you can actually feel just pure muscle.
Oh, sure.
Like on the outside, these women look. Some of them may look a little dainty or stuff like that, or at least more feminine. But you could just feel just beneath their skin, just how tough these people are.
Yep.
And how possibly they could snap your neck if they really wanted to.
Oh, yes. No illusions
You
here.
managed to get through it done fairly quickly, and all of the girls are watching and kind of a mix of confusion and some of them horror as you like take your hands and touch places on their bodies, like her legs, her feet, her hands and arms, and like, oh, an interaction like this is weird. And
Yep.
it's definitely a weird experience for Fear, but eventually you kind of get into the groove, and eventually she's laying there after you've done the massage on her. Her feet are in that
Bubbler thing.
bath mixture,
Yeah.
the bubbler thing that you kind of set up.
Yep.
And you've got her with the mud on her face, which you've had to make your own mud.
That's all right.
And eventually you finally
Cucumbers on the eyeballs.
finish her done.
Hot
Yeah.
towel under the neck. Oh, man. I want one now.
I guess it would be more ration bricks on the eyeballs because they don't have fruit.
Ration. Yes. These cut kind of funny, but they'll work for now.
Yeah. And eventually you get done with her, and you start the next one, and the next one, and the next one. You're just going down the line. Some of them are a little hesitant at first, but you're able to quickly get them through it. Some of them go by quickly playing into their idea of, well, are you just scared to try it? I wasn't scared enough to nearly get my face punched in Sudai.
Exactly. And I've almost been...
You say as you were very scared of getting your face punched in Sudai.
I've almost been kicked in the head 5 times and actually kicked in the head 3 times while doing this. Also,
Yeah.
the sternum, the groinal area twice, by the way. I need some ice. And once in the left knee. I'm in... But yeah, I carry on without fear. And I know you can sit down in that chair right there and put your feet in that water. It's going to be good.
And eventually you finally get to Nira, who is the last one.
The last one? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Save the best for last.
Okay, you're right. All right. Yep. Miss it back
and
here.
you go through and you take care of her, and she just kind of takes it, but you can definitely feel it as you start going through it that she's starting to loosen up her body and kind of relax a little more.
Good. This is where he focuses.
And at this point, you finally
Oh, my hands.
oh,
My hands and my
yeah.
arms.
You're a little sore from all the rubbing, but you got everyone in that relaxing after phase now.
It's the glow.
You've got everything going, the moisturizing and the mud, and finally, eventually, you do eventually see Kana leave that room that she was in.
Oh, she's been observing this whole time? Oops. Did I freeze?
You froze for a second.
Was she observing this whole time?
No, it seems like she's just left the room, finishing off whatever she was doing.
Okay.
And she kind of looks and goes, it seems like my information my experimentation took a little bit longer. If you need, would it be better if I came back in a little while?
Well, I was just finishing up with Nira, and we're almost done with our spa day, but there's time for one more.
Well, she kind of notices that the Nira's kind of filling the last chair currently, at least. You need to wait till at least someone get out of their chair. And would you ruin their early spa day by drop kicking them out of their chair?
Well, no, but I assume that I could be done with someone pretty soon here. But his focus has been on Nira, and he's tired. His arms are sore. He could get blisters. Who knows, right? But he's like, all right, I like this. I like her because she's been up until Kana been the nicest. But he's like, I gotta double down and put extra effort into her. So he'll still talk to Kana, But he's gonna focus like, it's up to you. You can wait, have your turn. But I don't know if you have the opportunity again. So if you like to learn, this is not the time to pass up. And then he goes back to what he's doing.
Hmm. But eventually she does. She watches for a little bit, but then she does say that she must take her leave as she does have other responsibilities on the ship.
Okay.
And you're finally there, just finishing up with Nira, and everything is calm and quiet. Occasionally, some of the girls will talk to each other, but it's really quiet. And
Um,
then that word comes back to your brain: experiments.
experiments. Yeah. I heard her.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you did.
He was focused on Nira. I think before that hits him, like he's just finishing up with a shoulder massage. There we go. And he leans close to her ear. And he's like, "Thank you." And then he just steps, only just for her.
Mhm.
And then he steps away and begins to wash off, and then or whatever, like all the lotion or the oil that's on him, and then that word, that line could come back, and he's just like, And but he's like, what can I do about it? They're gonna do what
Well,
they're gonna do.
Everyone else here is, kind of disposed at the minute, and that door is there.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're going, hey, why don't you follow her and spy when you're in such good graces?
She's already left, but the door she came out of, where she said she was finishing up experiments, is there.
I don't think he feels good enough to walk on his own. He's trying not to be too risky. He's like, then he turns to Nira and in a regular voice, is like, would you like to have a walk? And just feel the glow and just stroll in silence.
It takes her a couple of seconds and is like, if you're attempting to butter me up for any of your human activities, it will take more to do that. But if this is part of the spa day, I will believe I have to take this.
I will be truthful. It is not. I just thought you'd like to take a walk.
So she'll kind of like slowly get up out of the spa chair, the makeshift spa that you've set up,
Yeah,
and kind of stand there. She's still got like the mud on her face. She hasn't cleaned it off or anything.
Oh, he gets the bucket or does whatever, and
You clean her off, and she kind of rolls her shoulders almost and goes, "My body does feel rejuvenated, even if slightly."
That's the point. And I'm not even a master. There are many, many thousands of masseuses, and I don't know all the names, of course, chiropractors and just different doctors and Eastern medicinal experts, and you wouldn't even believe it. You'll see. He goes, this is just calming after walk with my new friend, if I can call you. Shoot, wait. Archie can't put himself in the friend zone right away. That's a bad mistake. Wait a minute. I'm gonna take that back. He's like, just gonna go for a walk with one of the few people who have shown me any respect. I respect that. There we go. Keep it professional for now.
She just slowly nods.
And
So then, where will we walk?
he just starts walking, but he aims for the direction that Kana went.
Okay, so you're gonna follow Kana instead of going into the door.
Instead of going what?
Well, she came out of the door nearby, and then from there left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're saying that the room that she came from was the experimental room?
Yeah, that's where she said that she'd finished up an experiment.
Okay. Yes, that's the direction I want to go. And I just casually...
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
Yep. He's just casually going to walk like he doesn't have any idea. It's just unintentionally like, we'll just pick this door. It's random.
Mm-hmm. And she'll just kind of follow along, and the door will... And then it'll kind of depressed sigh as it closes, because, everyone loves
General
to check
people
their stats.
personalities.
Yeah, just...
Yep. That's a good one. That's a good one. Keep those coming. Oh, wait. That's right. Silence.
And, yeah. And you go into the room, and it's still dark, as it was before. But, and she kind of looks around, and it's like, It seemed, and she'll kind of look towards you. Would you like the lights on for this, or?
I guess a little bit. It's kind of dark to walk around here, isn't it?
Indeed. We wouldn't want you hitting anything. And she'll flip on the lights, and lights will go on.
Uh-oh.
And inside of there, at first it just kind of looks like a normal, like, kind of lab setup. It's got a view out into space. It's got, computers and that stuff. And eventually, you kind of, as you're starting to walk through, you kind of notice these, you'd say, almost like mazes? Like small-sized mazes. And you, as you kind of look down towards them, you notice that there's humans inside of these. They're kind of like walking through the maze, trying to get to the end of it, like almost like a rat maze,
Yeah.
Scientific
I keep forgetting.
Mazes.
I keep forgetting they're all Micronians, and I am a super macro Micronian.
Yeah, you're like 10 meters tall.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so
I've already seen all the.
Still walking around.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say I've already seen all the farmers and everything, so I mean I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, they're like doing like experimental, get through the course and you get a treat, which is like a ration brick at the end, or rather a chunk of ration brick.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them seems to be getting closer. So there seems to be two different ones at least. The first one seems to have like a small group of people and they're working their way through, and seems pretty normal rat maze, and they're working through, and they see you and they're like, and they kind of like stare up at you and her, kind of a little shocked, a little scared.
Okay.
And then you notice the other one, which seems to have only the small, like single groups, or rather small single sections of people. And one of these people starts getting towards near one of the end of the mazes with someone else that they actually found, and as they start approaching the end, you see what is based almost like have you seen the Resident Evil movies?
Some of them. It's been a long time, but I've seen the first few.
The first live action one.
The very.
They go into the underground bunker.
Yeah, I love.
And
That's
they're
my
trying
favorite.
to breach into the compound or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then the laser wires start up.
Oh yes. Yes.
That basically turns on and slowly starts moving towards them, and you can hear an almost automated voice say, "Only one can go through."
Oh, so they gotta choose.
Mm-hmm. And the two of them, one male, one female, both of them are horribly scared. The woman's like begging the man because she says she has a daughter over in the farms that she needs to help take care of, and he's like, "But I don't want to die." And eventually she like shoulder checks him into the lasers.
Oh, good idea.
Like
I have to get involved.
She hold on, shoulder checks him into the lasers, and you hear his final screams as he screams in pain and basically turns into a pile of meat on the floor.
He got mulched.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And she goes, "It does seem like the females of your race are adequate."
What'd you say? Adequate?
Yeah, adequate.
I look at him like, that's right.
Sense is incredibly good to sacrifice the men.
Yeah, they'll do anything they're mama bears. They'll do anything to save their babies.
And it's a pretty bad scene overall.
Oh, sure.
The dude just got mulched by a laser.
Yeah, but he's like the size of an apple. So, and I don't know him. Now it's not that Archie's cold. But he's seen so much stuff. I mean, how many more things can shock him at this point? Like I've seen things that no human was ever meant to see, probably, right? I mean, the fact that I saw Chuck's dead body mutilized, and then now he's going to come back as a clone. Like, I'm waiting to see Chuck in one of these mazes. You know what? I'm waiting to see a Chuck and an Archie running around together because they've already cloned my DNA, and they're just going to torture me with that. Yeah, there's more ideas if you haven't thought of them. I'm sure you already have. So, anyways.
But it does seem like this room is for some sort of human experimentation, and the door comes back on, or the door opens behind you, and Kana goes, "Oh, I apologize. I did not know you were taking over this room for the spas too."
Oh, we were simply just going for a walk.
I did not take you for one to want to watch the suffering of your people.
No, I don't. As I've turned around, and I know Nearest just kind of hanging out. He's like, I don't like it. But, and I'll say kind of what I said out of character. He's like, I've seen a lot more in the last couple of days than any person's probably ever seen in their life on Earth.
Well, in that case, I do hope you don't mind me continuing the experimentations in here. And she basically has like what is the equivalent of like a pet container, like one of those small pet containers for like hamsters or something. But it's got like a couple of people inside.
Sure. As we walk by, I'm like, I don't condone it. I mean, no one on Earth would. But again, I don't have the power to stop you. I could only apply to your good nature and your humanity, as it were, to cease all experiments like this for the betterment of their lives.
And Kana and Nero will kind of look at you as you say, apply to their humanity and their better nature, and just go. And Kana will eventually say, I did not mean to give the wrong impression with my consoling before, but we are not a good people. We are going to continue to learn about your people by any means. We are bred for war, and at the end of this, whether we have the ship or not, your planet will burn. I don't believe you understood I don't believe you've heard the fleet's name yet. This is the Kiel Annihilation Fleet.
He's like, if you want to know more about the humans, all you gotta do is come down and ask. He goes,
You seem to misunderstand. We do not wish to know more just to know more. We wish to know more because Roberta wants to know how correctly to crush you and your people. She prefers to go with the routes of psychological warfare, as you have seen. Your reaction to Chuck is one example and one test of that. The more we know, the sooner the planet will, and in Oberta's words, the more fun it will be for your planet to fall.
I need to make a phone call. Second here.
And Nira's kind of... Did you actually say that?
No. I don't think so.
I mean, you could.
I don't think he would say it humorously like I did. He'd be like, I want my one phone call. Shifty eyes looking around.
Nira and Kana will look between each other, and Nira will smile for the first time. If that is what you wish, then follow me to the communications room.
Oh boy. On that whole thing about Earth burning no matter what, we'll see. He says back to her, and then goes on with Nara. Oh, great.
And, we're gonna cut over to the captain.
Yeah, please do. Jeez, Pete's.
And so, Captain, you've finally led, Oberta and Sistine to their rooms, and Oberta, or rather Sistine is fine to go and stay in the rooms. But Oberta, she decides to tag along with you now that everyone else is gone.
Okay.
And she snaps your neck. No. Just. But no. She just kind of follows along wherever you're going, wherever it may be, and just goes, I do have a way that this. I know what you may be doing. You may be seeking a way for this conflict to end peacefully, correct?
I would prefer it, but I am also understanding that you have me outgunned and I have the strongest vessel that we actually have control of.
Well,
So, yeah, I have something you want. Well,
indeed.
let me rephrase that. I have something that someone is pulling your strings to get.
Indeed.
As
That
someone who
is
doesn't like
true.
being on a string, I wish to find a way off of my string so your string won't be bothering me either.
Well, it's, as you know, the ship is our goal. But,
No, it's not. This ship is useless. It's something on the ship you want. Your name for it most likely does not translate to what I call it, if I even know where it is.
well, you are a smart one indeed, Captain. It is true, we seek something on this ship. But, unlike my male counterparts, as you have seen, we are more willing to talk.
Well, you're more
We,
willing to infiltrate and then talk. But I understand what
indeed,
you're saying.
one should hold, as there is a human saying, one should know all the cards their opponent holds before making a bet.
Indeed. A
And
fair hand is a bad hand.
indeed. But that is why I suggest an idea while you think upon what you may do with us or what may further go on during these negotiations that we are doing. The Robotech masters are not without their kindness. They do control a large empire in space, far from here. But there is a way for this to end peaceably, but it does depend on you, Captain. The way I suggest is talking with those on Earth or talking amongst your crew and joining the Robotech Empire as vassals instead. It is something that many planets have done, especially after engagements with the Zentradi. The Kabarans, Peritonians, Spherians, all names that I'm shouting off that are actually
Yeah.
real Robotech creature like
Yeah,
aliens.
but he won't know.
Experience.
Yeah, they're
The
called
round boys.
No, they're rocks.
Why are they called spheres?
Spears of rock.
Mhm.
That's what they call themselves.
But we know that on your planet, your people still suffer with not producing enough food for themselves at times, or suffer from diseases that your medical systems are not able to deal with. But if you join the Robotech Masters and as a vassal, the technology that your species would gain and the standing that you and your species would gain by giving the vessel back would allow you some leverage of say on what happens. In fact, if you you would gain technology to cure most of your diseases, if not all of them. You'd have access to the most advanced cloning tech in the universe. In fact, said cloning tech allows even the implementing of memories directly from one body to another. It is how I have shrunk myself as so.
I see. I was not going to ask, but I assumed you had something to do it. Or, as you said, clone.
We can take a one of our we call it micronizing. We can take ourselves from our size and we step into our micronization chamber and we become your size. All of our memories, training, skills, muscle memory is saved and
Interesting.
transferred to the new body.
And I assume this can be vice versa,
Indeed.
which is reversed in my parlance.
Yes. Indeed, it will allow me at the end of all this to go back to my normal size. It is something we've actually done to save one of your pilots.
Oh, really? Please tell me. Actually, no. Let me guess which one. The Oh, Silverworth, isn't it?
No, he's survived quite well. Last I heard, when I was on my way here, he was actually planning something called a spa day for the girls on my ship.
He raises his hand to his face. So he's engaging in the cultural exchanges by giving your girls a spa day.
It would seem so.
I want to say that's the most evil plan I've ever heard, but it is actually kind of smart for him. It's playing to his strengths. He is what is the word? He is a want-to-be player, which yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the idea since you're seemingly more clone-based production, but he attempts to engage in procreational recreation with many partners.
She
It's on his
projectile
file.
vomits at the, no. She just kind of like looks down at the floor and goes, Though I will doubt that the girls under my command will fall for such wiles easily.
He's not effective.
Okay.
He is.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, there it
He
is.
is. How do you say? Flagged for the friend zone. He's got like he's the guy that will keep trying until someone finally takes pity on him and marries him and makes him behave.
So what you're saying is ineffective. He's ineffective at his role.
Oh, that's not his role. That's just what he uses as a cover for his insecurities. It's a common human thing.
Oh, boy.
Ouch.
So many
Yeah.
pegs being taken down here.
But no, the one we have saved with the cloning technology is, I believe his name was Chuck Burning, and she takes a photo out and
Yes,
hands it to you.
he takes it. That is his number two, a second seat, if you will, on his flight team. They've been friends since they were children, I do believe.
Yes, unfortunately, his body was dying, but we were managed to extract his DNA and memories, and we are planning to grow him a new body.
Interesting. I would love to see how that turns out, and morbidly fascinated is the word. And I'm assuming you're using him in a test bed to see if you can replace the rest of us, if need be, in the same fashion with modified minds. I mean, that's what I would try to do. And he literally says it out loud.
Admittedly, no, it is not my favorite way of going about things. That and modifying memories is something we can't do. Transferring them wholesale is one thing, but changing what the mind sees as real or thought is real is more
No,
difficult than we can do.
I could sit here. We could walk on for an entire eternity as I try to wheedle out if some of the limitations you've inferred are set by the technology itself or set by your master's ability to allow you to use that technology in certain fashions. But I will have to warn you. Humanity is not united as they want to appear to be. One government of our planet may agree that we need Robotech masters because of all the glorious things their chain around our necks would entail. But I don't command them. I don't even speak for them right now because I was ordered to stay outside of my planet's lunar body and wait and for further instructions. I came here because I knew you were going there. And if you went there, they would fire. And of course, the hot blooded people that your races apparently are, similar to a lot of my own, you would fire back, and the Earth would basically be a smoking crater by the time one side finished firing, which was most likely mine because they'd be dead. I'm here to lay some groundwork. I have what your masters want off the ship. Whoever stole it from them set the ship to fire upon them when they arrived. And since then, we've been fighting one version of your people or another. I'm just we're lucky they sent your male counterparts first because, well, they overestimated us so badly because they didn't even try to understand us. And you're doing the exact opposite. You're overestimating some of us. And under in some cases. I mean, Silverworth is really slippery. He has to survive a lot of things that he had no right of surviving. 2 crashes. He has a mental tally of all the damage
I believe that
caused
is
by
now.
Silverworth.
I believe that is now 3, seeing as his new fair attack. Seeing as his plane was destroyed in the recent engagement.
Yes. And one of the more successful attacks from your group nearly crushed him in a hospital bed. And he still somehow got out of the hospital bed, pretended to be a doctor, helped people as if he was a doctor, and still struck out with 2 ladies that day. It was quite interesting.
Way to add that on the end.
But I will ask then, if you don't speak for your people and your people are willing to sell you out, what ground rules are there? If you were to merely just agree to hand over the battle fortress and we were to...
I can't do that. This is my battle fortress now. I can't just hand it over. But
I mean more show you, instead of handing it over and then just leaving you abandoned in space, joining the Robotech Masters as a vassal, and if your people still squabble amongst themselves, that is something the Robotech Masters have solved. Not through killing of freedoms, but through leading people to a less... She kind of thinks on the word, like trying to figure like the correct Earth term.
Yep. You try to coach that a little better.
Mm-hmm. Rather, the force that they show with us and themselves is to bring and unite people together. As you have seen, while we do have our differences inside of our military, we do not scuffle and squabble.
One second. Robotech will be returned at these moments. Robotech returns.
She turns and goes, and she'll look at you and go, even though we have the squabbles with ourselves, we do not seem to disagree as much on our objectives or what will further us as much as your own people do. Do they put the safety of the planet, or do the commanders and leaders only put their safety in front of them?
Scale-wise, we're similar, but focused narrowly different. Such as the UN is not necessarily concerned with the planet simply because in no previous areas was it a concern. We were alone. And until even when this fortress was found, inert and half buried on an island in the middle of the ocean, we still assumed it was it. So we call it, the UN Spacey is now a thing because of the ship functioning for once. Its maiden flight was, of course, when everything kicked on and took a shot at your male counterparts. As I've mentioned before, it was quite exciting. A lot of the ship has broken. More than its fair share of parts. Or just were never there in the first place. We don't know what your Robotech Masters want. And honestly, no one on Earth is going to agree to anything because they don't know why they should, because they don't know to fear you, because everything has occurred out here in space where they can't really see it. As you can see what we have to offer in the ship, I can't see what you have to offer yours. So I don't fear what I as a military man don't fear you I'm just trying to find ways to exploit weaknesses perceived based on evidence, which I have from the other ships, the male counterparts, which are obviously slower, but heavier weight of armament. So I know your ships are nimble. I know they're hard to hit, but I also know they pop easier when they do get hit. Simply don't have the fighters to keep up with you at times, or the pilots at least. Earth is the similar way. Some sections won't fear you until you've annihilated them. But then you have the objective there is, even if your robot masters just wanted Earth because, well, Earth is a oxygenated planet that's happy to live on for our type of life forms that happen to breathe oxygen, as we call it. They won't just roll over as like a dog, like we have a pet, and just wait for a master to scratch its belly. They will fight back. I am here to try to stop that from happening in the first place. I need to speak with these masters, or something closer than a fellow warrior of my, well, former. I used to be a commander of a fleet, but I'm just commander of one ship now.
Well, in terms of our ranking, the two that would be closest to your original ranking would be I and Commander Britai, first fleet that had come here.
Is he still alive? I don't know how many of his people we killed.
His people are, he and his fleet are still around doing whatever it may be that they are doing. But like Britai, I am a High Lord. We control fleets and, well, as you've seen, wage wars and do the bidding of our commander. The highest above us all is a man, or rather, the highest leader amongst us all is one you would call, in your tongue, Dolza. He is the supreme commander of all Zentradi forces.
But he's still not a leader. He's just a military man.
To put it in terms of, for your people, the Zentradi are the military arm of the Robotech Masters.
So you don't even really understand why they sent you after us. Not even Dulce really knows. He was given a blip on a map and said, go here, smash thing, bring back toy.
We were told to retrieve the Battle Fortress of Zor, a Robotech Master many years ago who, as far as we know, made a blind jump and landed on your planet.
And in the middle of that blind jump, set his entire ship to blow up anybody that followed him from his own planets. You don't feel any confusion with that statement? Just that thought pattern?
It's possible that he either didn't want it, or maybe there was a saboteur on board. Do you have...
I have a theory. In Greek mythology, which was an island, or a small set of nation states, one of the first ones to invent what we call democracy, which was a form of ruling and decision-making by community. It was an in-between state, a lot of work needed before it was finished, but it was an early thought for our primitive species at the time. The gods were creatures that existed in a fictional place, and each one had assigned roles. One guy would be in charge of fire and other fanciful things. Well, one of the gods decided mankind stopped needing to be cold and unable to stay outside and go in certain places. So he came down from heaven and handed man the ability to create fire for himself, implying that no one could remember who taught them this, but they knew he was special. This ship, to my people, was a hand from that God, bringing down technology that we never would have invented on our own. our little Veritech fighters that you fought, the Destroids, the non-transforming robots, all of that was derived from the mere paint scraped off this vehicle. We've multiplied it hundreds of times now on our planet. We have currently being built planetary level of destructive abilities just to fight whatever was coming for this ship. But overall, humanity still believed it was alone. But just like that God, when he came down and gave mankind fire to make them equal to the gods and could go anywhere on our planet, he was punished. He was punished by his fellows and killed. Well, he was put in a state of eternal death, where he's reanimated daily and returned to full health, only to be quartered and fed to, I think it was a bird or something, that came down and eat him. It was quite gruesome. It was a fun tale. It's a fun story. You'd probably, actually, I probably should get you a book of it. It's really fun to read. A lot of gods then were very vicious creatures according to mankind. Life is hard when you don't have technology to save you. But the idea is, to us, this ship is fire. We came out of the darkness of our planetary existence and we started looking up, not just to see if there's a plane or a bird crapping on us, but to what's out here. We're not going to give that up. But if I can buy them more time to look up and unify, I can go really far with this ship. I don't want to fight your fleet, because no matter what, I lose, even if I defeat your fleet, which is an amusing thought. And possibly if the big guns would fire properly, I probably could do it in a matter of moments. But the cost would just make my head more valuable to your families and your friends, or the fifth clone of the seventh batch, some form of number of version of you that they recant into a vat and spit out to fight me tomorrow would just be more mad and more angry to kill me, and I wouldn't have gained anything. I just wouldn't have lost everything. That's why I need to speak with somebody that has pointed the finger at me and said I'm a target. In this scenario, while you are an impressive person, I've enjoyed our times talking, you're extremely brilliant, but you're a bullet already fired from a rifle, seeking its target. Or I guess more like a cruise missile in my parlance, a large missile flying through space that's going to explode and take out whatever it can in its path. I need to talk to the guy holding the gun. I don't want to blow up my ship. I don't want to blow up random knickknacks inside the ship thinking maybe that's what you want, and I don't want you to have it. I don't want to play games. I want to talk. And of course, I have to entertain the spies of various governments on my ship and make sure they don't think I'm just going to hand humanity over to you on a silver platter so that they don't shoot me in the back of the head while I try to do it. And also, please don't let Archie get loose on your ship.
She'll look at you and go, "You'll tell the man who brought fire from the sky. Wouldn't you want to be that man that brings the fire of life back to your planet, the fires of unity?"
Right now, I am. Until the moment you take this ship and go right past me and blow up my planet, or we turn around together and you escort me where I need to go. Either way, I'm in that moment where he is staring down at the planet below, wondering if humanity could use this fire or if they'd have used it to hurt him, and then turn around and look back at his people and say, I'm at that moment. If I do this, I can't come home. I'm at that moment. I'm already in trouble. I could go home right now if I could punch a way through, and they'd just be mad for a few minutes. But if I give you what you want, or promise you Earth, I can't go home. And I have three young ladies I owe an island to when I get home.
I will say this. The negotiations will have to continue with me, of course. But
I don't have to talk to him in person. Even if it's just simply messaging through you, it's fine.
If for whatever reason this did not go through, though, the next group that they send will not be as personable as us. It could be another male High Lord. Maybe Bree Tai will get another fleet, or one of the other ones will gain a fleet.
It's understandable.
Or it could be one of the other female leaders, like the Siphon fleet.
Someone more vicious, less
Incredibly
curious.
vicious. She's how shall we say? I would equate her almost to, on your species, or on your planet, a wild animal whose chain needs to be just pointed in a direction.
I'm well acquainted with that type of commander. I've had several that I've had to fight against in the years of my personal war on planet.
But I will at least say this, Captain. Your decision needs not to be rushed. I will stay here. I am willing to stay the few days for the wedding that you said is being set up.
Oh, well, you'll be my guest of honor.
Hold on, I don't think that was ever mentioned to her.
Well, I said there was a wedding, but I didn't say when. So we'll just let that slide.
Yeah, well, we will stay for the wedding of the human interaction that you have said. But by then, I would like an answer as to whether we can continue negotiations, or if I will have to tell the Robotech masters that negotiations could not be met.
Well, if you need, after some rest, I'll escort you back to your ship, your shuttle, so you can contact them and pass through my request. Would that be acceptable?
I can at least send it from my mission. I would like to stay on your ship for the foreseeable future.
Well, I meant the shuttle that we came. Yes.
But with that, I bid you a good cycle, Commander.
Rest well. If you need anything, there is a panel near the door that you can call for things. You're on the command deck level, so there's more guards. So please don't slip around, because I don't want to replace my guards if you kill them. He chuckles.
And she'll give a small nod and head back to her assigned room. And I believe that's where we'll call the session, because it's 10:30.
Yes. We're falling
But
asleep.
this has been the MACROSS saga. This has been a little bit of a rough session, in my opinion, only because I've been trying to get back into the groove of GMing, which
That's great.
delays is definitely difficult. And this is our final season. We're going to only have about 5 or 6 episodes in this, and who will survive? Who will die? Will humanity manage to make it through this, or will they bend the knee? We'll have to see. This has been all for me. I am Harukajunko. I GM here occasionally, and I'm a channel hobo. Always here, always having fun with you guys. Glad to have you again. Glad to have everyone back here. And I'm gonna pass it down to Mecha, or rather Elias.
I am Mecha Meme playing Alex Matz, the somewhat hapless spy and rock star.
Excuse me.
I'll pass it over to the captain now, I think.
All right. I was Captain Colors, and I'm also Soundwavesghost. Amazing transformation. I GM and play here on random one of the 2 nights that we GM and play here. This on Tuesdays going forward till we're done with this, which will then be followed by the Fallout RPG started by Modifius. And on Thursdays, I'm on Band of Blades and the D&D game, getting munched on by various monsters. As usual, guys, thanks for playing with me. Lucas, thanks for letting us play on your channel. And Mike, thanks for running. I appreciate it. And then back to the boss.
Uh-oh.
Yes, you, Luke.
He's talking about me. Thank you, everybody. I had a great time. Thank you for starting to back up, Mike. Thank you for everybody in the audience. There's like 15 people there, which is a lot. That's a lot right here. So appreciate y'all stopping by. Thank you. We come back next Tuesday for the continuation of the Robotech the Macross Saga. This Thursday is Band of Blades. We're down, but we're going to push through because we're at a crucial point and it's getting real hairy. We're almost to the end. So it's going to be good. And then every other Thursday is switching that with Dungeons & Dragons. And then, well, you'll see the Fallout RPG is coming after this is concluded. And probably more Robotech down the line. There's just all kinds of stuff. If you want to know more, join the Discord, see the schedule, find out. And then if you want to help us out, consider financially supporting us with your cheer bits, your tips, donations, your subs. Everything goes right back to the channel to help improve everything and make it better. So that's about all I have. Usually I have more, but I didn't have to GM, so it's nice I could sit back and not necessarily talk the whole time. Thank you, Mike, and for everybody else who also GMs instead of me all the time. Thank you for the players for also playing and being here tonight. And I think that's it, right? So we'll see you guys Thursday and then next week, Tuesday. So from myself to you, everyone have a good night. God bless. Good gaming. Peace. We're out of here. Archer Rules Season of Love. Yeah, that's right. I said it.